So the third chapter in seventh standard science is changes around us. So there are various changes in the matter around us. So matter consists of various particles known as atoms, and the matter exists in majorly three forms, that is solid, liquid and gaseous forms. So now we are going to see what are the changes which are occurring around us, what are the changes we are observing in the states of matter. So the chapter is completely dealing with the changes of matter. There are basically two changes, that is physical change and chemical changes of matter, where the physical change is that when there is change in its states of matter, that is from solid state to it may change to a liquid state. Likewise, a liquid state can solidify to a solid state. So here only the change of matter is in terms of its physical appearances, and also mostly this can be reversible, and here no new substances are formed. For example, if you melt a butter, the state of the butter is changed. That is, the solid cube of butter is being melted to a liquid form, whereas a solid ice cube is being melted to a liquid form. Similarly, so this changes are known as the physical changes of matter. Whereas if we take the chemical changes of matter, it means that here we are taking a nail, and if years passed out and there is presence of moisture and or oil in that, then it will lead to rusty nail, right? So the process of rust formation is a kind of irreversible reaction, that is it cannot be changed back, irreversible. So in chemical change there are new products formation, new product is formed, that is rust in this case. Whereas in physical state change of matter there is no new products formed, and also this is reversible and here it is irreversible. Just like example of a milk turning into a curd, likewise, and dough which is baked as a bread. So once it is baked as a bread, it cannot be made to the dough, it cannot be reversed back, right? So chemical change and physical changes are occurring in various ways around us, in and around us. So this chapter is completely going to deal with that. We'll see the learning objectives of the chapter, that is to state the effect of heat on solid, liquid, gas and associated change upon the particles upon heating. So to differentiate physical change from chemical change on the basis of particle theory, to involve experiments crystallizing copper sulfate, melting ice, freezing water, sublimating camphor, then to identify the process of physical change and chemical change based on its characteristics, to clarify the process of rusting, burning of paper, curdling of milk, reaction of baking soda with lemon juice, then to distinguish periodic and non-periodic changes, to experience the endothermic and exothermic changes through simple activities. So these are the objectives which we are going to learn from this chapter. So here is the introduction. Changes takes place around us all time, so nothing is static, right? Generally everything is undergoing a kind of change or updation. So a change refers to an alteration in either its physical form or its chemical form. So generally in the physical form, if we take, the composition of the matter is being changed, that is solid to liquid or liquid to gaseous or gaseous to solid, like that. So this kind of changes is come under the category of physical change, where no new products are formed. In case of rusting of the iron, the reddish brown new substance is being formed. So where this is a chemical change, where there is a formation of new substances. Okay, we'll see more examples with the help of this diagram. We can observe the first category is rusting, so this will come under chemical change. The second one is digestion. Again here it is a chemical change because there is involvement of chemicals and formation of a new products. Then if you are cooking something, you can't reverse back, right? So that is also formation of new products, it's a chemical change. And rotting of a banana is also a chemical change. Why? Because it cannot be turned back, right? So it's a chemical change. And some salt mixture, when you mix sugar in water, it is chemical change or physical change. So it's generally a chemical change because the chemical constituent of the water is being changed, right? Whereas cutting down of trees is, does any new particles are forming there or new products are forming there? No. Even though that is an irreversible reaction, this will come under physical change. Why? Because there is no new products formed from the previous one. Then crushing of a can or various sizes of buttons Then all this will come under physical categories, whereas burning of a paper will come under chemical change because it is irreversible and new product, that is ashes, are formed, right? Now we'll list out few of the physical and chemical changes. So for physical change you can write tearing of a paper, tearing of a paper, cutting wood, cutting wood. What else we can mention here? Crushing of a can, crushing of can. Then what physical changes can you mention? Melting of ice, melting of butter. Okay, melting of ice, similarly melting of butter. So all these can be example for physical change where the properties solid to liquid or liquid to gas or gas to solid, like that only the states of matter is being changed and no new products are formed. Also these are sometimes reversible too. So these come under the physical changes. What can be the examples for chemical changes? Can you list out few? So those can be burning of paper, burning of wood, digestion process. You can list out from here. Rusting of iron, then rotting of fruits, so these can be example for chemical changes where there are formation of new products and also these are not reversible. Fine. So now we are moving to the next category, that is effect of heat on solid, liquid and gases. So upon heating a solid, the particles, the kinetic energy of the particles will increase and it may loosen up the interaction between the intramolecular forces between the solids are weakened. Thereby they will be melted to form liquids. When liquid is heated up in a too much amount or an excess amount, the liquid will change its state to gaseous state by the intermolecular force has been reduced. So this process is known as evaporation. Now when a gas is cooled down, it can come to the liquid state or reverse back to the liquid state. This process is known as condensation. And when a liquid upon cooling down can solidify itself to form solid substance by increasing its intermolecular forces between the particles. So solid to liquid is melting, liquid to gas is evaporation, gas to liquid is condensation, then liquid to solid is solidification, and there is one more state of change of matter which is from solid to gas. So a solid camphor can directly sublimate. So this process is known as sublimation, where there is no participation of liquid state. The solid form of a camphor can directly form gaseous state. That process is known as sublimation. So can you understand? We'll have a quick recap here. We saw about the physical changes and chemical changes. Now we are seeing how the effect of heat and cold, that is the temperature, is affecting the states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas. So when a solid turns to liquid, that process is known as melting. When liquid turns to gas, that is evaporation. When a gas is converted to liquid form upon cooling, so this two process which we observed is upon heating, that is addition of temperature. Here we are reducing the temperature. Okay, so the gas, when it is cooled down, it will form the liquid state by the process of condensation, and the liquid is forming as a solid. When upon cool down, the process is solidification. Then there is one more final touch, that is upon the solid which directly undergoing the change of gaseous state without going to the liquid state is known as sublimation. Okay, so this is the entire picture of changes of matter. Now we are going to this particular point where you can observe that effect of heat again and heat loss. So may result in melting, boiling, freezing, condensation. Whereas heat loss can result in, that is cooling down can result in expansion or contraction. So here this brings about change in state. Here the mass or volume is conserved. Now we are going to learn more about the physical changes. So you can observe what is a physical change. Here one example is given. The bulb is in the off state. Here it is in the on or glow state. So here only the physical property of the bulb has been changed. No new substance has been formed. So the physical properties include luster, malleability, ductility, sonority, density, viscosity, solubility, mass, volume. So any physical change in the physical properties of a matter can refer to a physical change. So if you have a rubber band, you are stretching it to form a big shaped oval. So this is change in shape. So only the physical structure has been changed here. No new substance is formed, and also it can be reversed back to the older state. So all these kind of example will come under the physical changes. Now we'll see the characteristics of physical changes. As we already discussed, during a physical change there is no new substance formed. Okay, whereas the chemical properties of the substance, it do not changes. The chemical properties of the substance, of the reactant and the product remains same. Now when an ice cube melt and water is formed, both the conditions, the reactant and product, is made up of water molecules only. Now a physical change is usually temporary and it is reversible in nature. Whereas in physical change, the chemical properties, substances do not change. Okay, if a piece of gold is melted, its chemical composition remains the same in solid form and also in the liquid form. Then in physical properties such as color, shape, size of the substance, for example cutting of vegetable, all these only the shape, size, color, all these come under the physical categories. Okay, inflation of balloon, cutting of vegetables, all these come under physical changes. Whereas in change of state, we already discussed this. From solid to liquid, it's melting. Liquid to gas, vaporization, or also known as evaporization. Then liquid to solid, freezing, solidification. Gas to liquid, condensation. Solid to gas, sublimation. So we discussed the changes of state in the previous with the help of the diagram itself. So each has been explained here, out of which the first case, melting. Melting is nothing but solid upon heating will change to liquid, and liquid upon cooling will change to solid. So when we heat a solid and it's melting it into liquid, that process is known as melting. When a solid is condensing, or to form, when a solid is changing to a liquid form, that is known as solidification. Fine. I mean liquid is converting into solid here. Here the solid is being converted to liquid. Now next form is vaporization, where you can see the changes is between liquid to gaseous state. So when we heat the liquid, that will turn to gaseous state. That process is known as evaporization. Next we'll move on to the freezing. Freezing is a state of matter where water in the freezer compartment of refrigerator get cools and solidifies to form ice. So water, that is liquid state, is converted to solid state. So that process is known as freezing or solidification of water. So it is also a physical change. Then liquid water is cooled 0 degrees Celsius, it freezes to become ice. Note that point. So this is the particles of liquid where intramolecular forces are bit weaker, whereas in the solid the intramolecular forces are highly strong. Now the process of condensation, where a liquid state is being where a gaseous state is being condensed to form the liquid state. So the water vapor emerges from the hot food and gets up the plate covering the food item and relative less temperature than the hot food. So thus more energetic molecules lose energy to the cooler place. Condensation happens when molecule in a gas cool down. Okay, this is about the water cycle. So condensation is the conversion of gas into its liquid state. The liquid obtained after condensation can be converted back on heating. So gas to liquid is condensation, whereas liquid to gas is evaporation or vaporization. Fine. Now the process of sublimation, as I already told, have you noticed a camphor? So it will never become a liquid at any point of time. So it will never pass to the liquid state. It will directly convert solid state to this naphthalene and camphor will upon heating will directly change to solid to gas. So this process is known as sublimation. Okay. Sir, here experiments have been given to observe the crystallization and sublimation which can be performed in the laboratories. Now we are moving on to the process of crystallization. So crystallization is a method of purification. It can also be used for separation methods. So it's a method for separation and purification. So crystallization is also a special form of physical change. The soluble impurities gets removed from certain solids by crystallization. So the process of cooling hot concentrated solution of a substance to obtain crystal is called crystallization. We know that seawater contains salt. So upon heating and evaporation process, there is a technique. The soluble impurities can be removed. So further, the crystals of salt obtained by the process of evaporation are small. Then the shape of the crystals cannot be seen clearly. So solid substances are usually purified by the process of crystallization. So large crystals of pure substance can be obtained from their solutions by the process of crystallization. Crystallization is a method of separation as well as a method of purification. If we see here, from gaseous state to liquid state, the process is condensation. Then from liquid to solid, it is freezing. Then from solid to liquid, it is melting. And from liquid to gas, it is evaporation. Then from solid to gas, the direct is sublimation. All these have been mentioned in the single picture, which I have already explained in the previous slide itself. Now chemical changes. Till now we discussed about the physical changes. So till crystallization, whatever we discussed, all the three states of matter, change in the shape, color, size and states of matter, solid to liquid, liquid to gas, gaseous to liquid, liquid to solid and gaseous to solid, all this stuff were completely discussed based on the physical changes. Now we are going to focus on the chemical changes. So chemical changes occurs with the formation of new substance. As I already told you, here a different chemical composition or transformation or a substance takes place. Say for example, in rusting of iron, we cannot bring back the reactant. So it is irreversible and there is formation of new substances. So these two are the highlighting properties. For example, medicines preparing and metals extracted, the materials such as plastic, soap, or carrying out various types of, and every material is discovered by studying different types of chemical changes. Now here you can see what are the new products formed. So a change in smell, a color change or a gas may be formed, sound may be produced, a pop sound or something like that. So heat or light or any other radiation may be. So all these are the products or the new substance which are formed as a result of chemical change. You can see here in this picture, here is a slice of potato. It is stored in water, it is stored outside the water. So here it has been rotten like light. So this is a chemical change where it cannot be reversed back to the freshly form. So this is a chemical change, it is irreversible and a new product is formed. Fine. Here they have asked the question, you know that plant produce their food by the process photosynthesis. Can we call photosynthesis a chemical change? Of course, yes. Because here new substances are formed and they are irreversible. Then rusting of iron, burning. So why burning is a chemical change? Because there is formation of ashes. If you burn a paper, there is formation of ashes. And you can't bring this paper to its old form, right? So it is also irreversible. So there is formation of new product and also it is irreversible, hence it is chemical change. Now let's move on to another topic, that is curdling of milk. This is an example for chemical change where you can see that it is an irreversible change The lactic acid bacteria or lactobacillus is responsible for changing of the milk to curd. So once curd is formed, it cannot be turned back to milk, so it is irreversible, and the formation of curd, that is new substance with new chemical properties. Fermentation. So in class 6 we saw an example that preparation of batter to produce idli is an example of irreversible change. So there new products is formed with the help of yeast. New products are formed with new chemical composition, and also this process is irreversible, hence it is a chemical change. So Louis Pasteur, who is a microbiologist, he is the one who have found out the process of pasteurization of milk and also fermentation process. So this pasteurization of milk is very useful method for preserving the chemical properties of milk without damage of harmful damage from microorganisms. Here is another chemical reaction of baking soda with lemon, which we will be discussing in the next class.